July 6th, 1942. A few days ago, Father began to talk about going into hiding. He said it would be very hard for us to live cut off from the rest of the world. He sounded so serious. I felt scared. Don't worry, Annika. Just enjoy your carefree life while you can, he said. Carefree? I was born in Frankfurt on June 12, 1929. Because we're Jewish, we immigrated to Holland in 1933. But Hitler invaded Holland on May 10, 1940. 5 days later, the Dutch surrendered. The Germans arrived, and the trouble started for the Jews. Father was forced to give up his business, manufacturing products used to make jam. We couldn't use streetcars. Couldn't go to the theaters or movies anymore. Couldn't be out on the street after 8 p.m. Couldn't even sit in our own gardens. We had to turn in our bicycles. No beaches, no swimming pools, no libraries. We couldn't even walk on the sunny side of the streets. Our identity cards were stamped with a big black J, and we had to wear the yellow star. But somehow, life went on. Until yesterday. A call-up notice from the SS. My sister Margo was ordered to report for work in Germany to the Westerbork transit camp. A call-up for work. But everyone knows what that means. At 5:30 this morning, we closed the door of our apartment behind us. My cat was the only living creature I said goodbye to. The unmade beds, the breakfast things on the table, all created the impression we'd left in a hurry. And our destination? We walked 2.5 miles in the pouring rain, all the way to 263 Prinsengracht, Father's office building. Our hiding place, the secret annex, is right behind it upstairs. You can't see it from the street. Even though the Germans forced Father to give up owning the business, he still runs the office with Mr. Kraler and Miep, who have offered to help us while we're in hiding.
Miep.
Mr. Frank, thank God you arrived safely.
Miep!
Hello, Anne. Mrs. Frank. Margo, you look exhausted. If only we'd known, we would have had it all ready for you.
You've done too much to help already, Miep. And besides, it's good to keep us busy. As you can see, Anne is my little helper.
I see that. Oh. Peter, come in.
Peter. This is Anne, and Margo, and my wife, Mrs. Frank. Mrs. Frank?
Forgive me, Peter, I'm not quite myself, but I'm happy you'll be with us.
I am too. A cat! He has a cat! We have a cat too. I wanted to bring her, but we're so... I know our neighbors will take care of her until we come back. It'll be great having a cat here though, won't it, Pin? Won't it be fantastic?
Calm down, Anne. Peter doesn't know you yet.
He'll get to know me soon now. It's going to be so much fun having other people around, like being on a vacation in some strange pension or something. An adventure, romantic and dangerous all at the same time.
What is it, Peter? My parents. They were right behind me, one street away. They'll be here. You don't think they were?
Don't worry, Peter. You're just like me.
Mother's always jumping at every little thing. What's its name?
Oh, Mushy.
Mushy. I love cats. Where did you go to school?
I set up a technical school in somebody's house. But once we were forbidden to...
I had to switch from my Montessori to the Jewish Lyceum.
No, I saw you there.
You did? I'm famous at my school.
See, Peter, now what did I tell you? Now we're all here.
We had to take the long way around. There's so many police on the streets. Welcome, Mrs. Von Don. You remember my wife, of course, and the children.
We have to hurry. The men will be downstairs in half an hour.
Such trouble we're causing you, Mr. Kraler, after all that you and Miep have done. And now we arrived early.
You couldn't let your daughter be taken, Mr. Frank.
Please don't worry. We'll do everything we can to help. Now, I must run and get your ration book.
Wait! If they see our names on the ration books, won't they know we're here?
Trust me, your names won't be on them. But if you make a list every day, I'll try and get what you want. And every Saturday, I can bring 5 library books.
5? I know what my 5 are going to be.
And remember, there are 7 of us.
I know, Mother. So it's illegal then? The ration books? But we've never done anything illegal before.
I don't think we'll be living exactly according to regulations here.
Miep or I will be by every day to see you. I've had a buzzer installed to signal when we come up, and tomorrow I'll have that bookcase placed in front of your door. And the radio.
Oh, radio? Oh, thank God.
How did you get it? We had to turn ours in months ago.
Thank you, Mr. Kraler, for everything.
You will tell them about the noise.
I will tell them.
Excuse me, Mr. Kraler. How can we thank you? How can we...
I never thought I'd live to see the day a man like Mr. Frank would have to go into hiding.
It's a wonder we weren't arrested. Petronella walking down the street with a fur coat and a hat box in the middle of the summer.
What do you need another hat for? It's not a hat. I just don't feel at home without my chamber pot.
Now, everyone, a few things. Quickly, we've got to get organized before 8. And... sit down, please. Now, the first thing is the noise. While the workmen are in the building between 8 and 6, we must be completely quiet. So no shoes and no movement. We can't run the water or flush the toilet in the WC. The pipes run down through the warehouse and every sound can be heard. We can't throw anything out, not even a potato peel.
Then how?
Well, we'll burn everything in the stove at night. We can't go outside. Can't even look out a window. No coughing. And if possible, no fevers. We can never call for a doctor. This is the way that we must live. Till it's over. But after 6, we can talk, laugh, play games, just as we would in our own homes. This will be the common room, where we will meet to have supper, like one family.
One family. I love that.
Now then, why don't we get settled in? As Mr. Von Don and I discussed, this will be the main room and the Von Don's room. The Franks' room will be over here. And Anne and Margo, you'll be upstairs. And Peter, I know it's small, but you'll be right next to your parents. Actually, I'm glad you brought your cat. Miep warns us. There could be rats.
Never can we thank you enough, Mr. Frank. If it weren't for you, don't know what would have happened to us.
Can't imagine how your husband has helped me. When I came to Amsterdam, unable to speak the language, not knowing a soul, and besides, he's an excellent business partner.
Well, that's true.
God, it's so hot!
Take that precious coat off for 1 minute. You feel a lot cooler.
But you rest, Edith. You haven't shut your eyes since yesterday. Nor you, Margo.
I said father. Isn't that funny? Even though I knew it was the last night in my own bed.
You can sleep through anything. Now take your shoes off before you forget. You too, Peter. The shoes.
You sure you're not too tired, Annika?
Mother, please, I'm fine. Hey, what are you doing?
Getting rid of it.
You can't do that. They'll arrest you if you go out without your star.
Who's going out? Besides, now I don't have to be branded.
You're right. We don't need it anymore. Remember when it started? People tried to look the other way, but somehow their eyes always landed right there. Mother's so responsive tight.
The day they made us wear the star was the worst day of my life.
And you mustn't bother Peter.
I'm not bothering him. Mushy!
Mushy either. Tonight we'll have our first real dinner here. Together.
He's awfully shy.
Oh, you'll like him, I know.
I better. He's the only boy I'm going to be seeing for the... My movie stars! Penny, you remembered! I'm going to put them... Wait, where's my diary? Oh, I forgot my pencils.
And no! You can't go down those stairs. Never! This is what going into hiding means. One mistake could cost us our lives! But every day, Eve and Mr. Kraler will bring us food, books, their precious company. They're friends. That's rare these days. If the Nazis find out that they were hiding us, they could be deported too. Here,
Fountain pen.
your fountain pen now.
All of those bags of beans and potatoes. Is that what we're going to be eating every night? Not much variety.
Oh, don't listen to her. She's a great cook. Even what she could do with beans and potatoes.
Oh, he's exaggerating.
No, even with beans, you'll see. I'm gonna miss those gourmet meals.
We'll meet here at 6 to start preparing supper.
6. Yeah, 6.
Come away from the kitchen now, Petronella. Work will be here any moment.
Maybe it was a mistake, going into hiding together. They say it's better for families to separate. That way, if we're caught or betrayed, the children will
The
be able
children
to...
would never have understood it had we separated. They could never have borne it. No more than we. Come, we must be quiet now.
Und für das wir nun einzutreten entschlossen sind, bis zum letzten Hauch, dieses Deutschland, der deutschen Volksgemeinschaft aller deutschen Stämme, das Großdeutsche Reich, Sieg heil! Sieg heil!
It's the silence that frightens me most. Every time I hear a creak in the house, a step on the street, I'm sure they're coming for us. I wander from room to room feeling like a songbird whose wings have been ripped off and keeps hurling itself against the bars of its cage. I want to scream, "Let me out where there's fresh air and laughter!" But then I remember the Jews who are not in hiding. And I know we live in a paradise. We're as quiet as baby mice. Who would have dreamed Quicksilver Ann would have to sit still for hours? And what's more, could.
At last.
What have you got to write in your diary that's so funny? Nothing about me, I hope. Can I take a peek?
Not even a little peek, Mrs. Von Don.
Fine.
A line first to WC.
Has anyone seen my shoes?
Shoes?
You took them, didn't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll be sorry.
Will I?
Anne? Peter?
Oh, here. Come on, Peter, dance with me.
I don't know.
I'll teach you.
I don't want any lessons.
Please.
I have to go get Moosey his supper.
Can I watch?
He doesn't like people around when he eats.
I'll be quiet. Quiet as a little mouse. He likes mice, doesn't he?
No!
Anne, you shouldn't play with Peter like that. It's not dignified.
I don't want to be dignified.
You complain I don't treat you like an adult, but when I do, you resent it.
I just wanted to have some fun. What's wrong with that boy?
He's just not used to girls, especially none like our Annika. Give him time.
How much time does he need? You dance with me, Margo.
No, I have to help with supper.
Come on, if we don't practice, we'll forget.
Okay.
Da 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 dum 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 da 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 da. See, Margo's the real dancer in the family. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Dancing. Where's Peter? In his room. Anne, do me a favor and get Peter out of his room.
Peter,
What is it?
your mother says to come out.
You know what your father says.
I'll feed Mooshie.
All right, but just give him his supper. And come right out.
Peter, is that any way to talk to your widow girlfriend?
Mother, please.
What?
She's only 13.
So you're 16. I'll tell you, Mr. Frank, if we're here for much longer, we're liable to be related. God, I hate them.
Miep's not here yet?
The workmen only left a little while ago.
What's for dinner?
Beans.
Again? Saw you in there playing with that cat again.
He's only been in there for a little while. He's been out here all afternoon working on his French.
How did I do in algebra?
I think we both better give up on algebra.
How did I do? How do you always do? Brilliant.
I think you used the subjunctive here.
Where?
Right here.
Mrs. Von Don, may I try on your fur?
Anne!
It's all right, I don't mind.
My father bought it for me the summer when I was 16. Oh, he always bought the best money could buy.
Did you have a lot of boyfriends before you were married?
Well,
Anne, it's not courteous to ask such personal questions.
Why not?
because that's okay, I don't mind. Like I said, I remember the summer when I was 16.
Oh, God, here we go.
Who's talking to you? Anyway, we had a big house in Bremerhaven. Those boys came buzzing like bees around a honeypot. My father was always so nervous with all of those boys around, and he'd say, oh, if any of those boys get fresh, you remember, you tell them, remember, Mr. So-and-so, remember, I'm a lady.
Remember, Mr. So-and-so, remember, I'm a lady.
Very good. Okay, that's enough. What have you got to write in your diary that's so important all the time? How much does a 13-year-old have to say?
Well, just because someone is young doesn't mean they don't have anything to say, Mrs. Von Don. Please, can I have any privacy?
What could be so private? I just hope she doesn't write anything about me in that diary of hers.
Oh, Putty, don't be so ridiculous. Really, you are just so childish sometimes.
And you still haven't finished your French. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I know, I'm a hopeless case.
You're not hopeless. You just don't have anyone to help you like the girls do. Maybe you could, Mr. Frank.
Oh, I'm sure his father
Not
would
me. I have no use for French. Besides, he won't listen to me.
What do you say, Peter?
Oh, Mr. Frank, you are an angel. If only I met you before I met that one over there.
Well. Come, Peter. Why don't you show me which chapter you're on?
You listen to Mr. Frank, Peter. He's a very highly educated man.
Aren't things hard enough without you sprawling all over the place? I never knew a child who was so rude.
Rude? Me? I don't know how you could say that when you're always...
Anne! Would you bring me my knitting, please? I must remember to ask me for some more wool.
Oh, I have some library books for her to return. And I need some hairpins and soap. Did you know Miep's engaged to someone called Jan? She's crazy about him, but terrified the Nazis will send him to Germany to work in a war plant. That's what they do with all the Dutchmen these days. They pick him up in the street and then they take him
Can't you be quiet for 5 minutes?
Anne, come have your milk.
Talk, talk, talk. It's a wonder we haven't been discovered and shot. Why do you have to show off all the time? Why can't you be a good girl?
Not me. I'm going to be remarkable. I'm going to Paris and I'm going to be a famous writer. Or singer. Or dancer. Oh my God, my beautiful fur coat! I'm sorry.
Oh, do you know my father paid for this? Look at it! Look at it!
I'm very, very
Oh, I
sorry.
could kill you for this.
Petronella, don't carry on, so it's just a fur coat.
Anne, you can't behave like this.
It was an accident. Anyone can have an accident.
I'm not just talking about the fur, Anne. We're all living under great stress. But you don't see Margo getting into any arguments with the Von Dons, do you?
Oh, Margo's perfect. She never gets into arguments with anyone. No, I'm not perfect.
She's courteous. She keeps her distance, and they respect her for it. Please, try to be more like Margo.
And have them walk all over me too? No, thank you.
They don't walk all over
yes,
me.
They do. All over you.
I'm not worried they'll walk all over you. I'm worried you'll walk all over them. I honestly don't know what happens to you if I ever talk to my mother the way you talk
But
to me.
people aren't like that
Margo
anymore.
is, and
Margo. That's all they ever hear.
Oh, Anne, don't be so dramatic.
Everything she does is right and everything I do is wrong. If I talk, I'm a show-off. If I answer, I'm rude. Selfish if I eat too much. Stupid, cowardly, and a complete disappointment. I'll never live up to your expectations. And I'll never be Margo.
Anne! I don't know how we can go on living like this.
No, Anne, I mean, in 2 minutes she'll be laughing and joking again.
No room, no privacy. Those people, the way they behave. Father chooses to shut his eyes. I can't even remember how life used to be.
It's me.
Last.
Has everyone got their list?
I have mine.
Now you'll get your library book, Annika.
Miep! The air, you smell like the outdoors.
How are you, Mr. Kraler?
Where did you go today? Who did you see? Did anyone interesting come into the office?
We missed you yesterday, Mr. Kraler. Will you be staying for supper?
Thank you, but there's something we need to discuss. Something that needs to be decided immediately.
What? What is it? Mr. Kraler.
We try to bring good news, but you don't know how bad it is outside. It's getting worse every day.
There is a dentist, Dussel. He's Jewish. He's been living with a Christian woman, but today he asked if I knew of a safe address. I promised I would let him know.
Of course, Miep. Absolutely. Mr. Dussel, I believe we all know him.
Yes, but where is he going to sleep? There's hardly enough room now.
I apologize. I spoke without
It's just that there's so little food.
I've tried, Mr. Von Don. There's just no more rations to be had.
Where 7 can eat, 8 can eat as well.
I hope so.
We can save even one life. We must.
Yes, definitely.
Well, you're right. Of course.
Mr. Kraler will go to meet him. I will bring him up.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Fine to have him. Really, it's just where are we gonna put him?
You can have my bed.
I'll sleep on the floor. That's very kind of you, Peter, but there's hardly enough room in there for one person.
I know. I'll move in with you and Mother, and Mr. Dussel can have my bed.
Another year has begun, and we've been here 1 year, 5 months, and 25 days. We're all thinner, paler, and a lot hungrier. We've been plagued by medical problems. Someone's always suffering from something. But I'm lucky. I've been healthy. In fact, I've been growing. So much that I can't fit into my shoes anymore. Not to speak of anything else. And now, each month, despite the pain and discomfort, I have the feeling that I have a sweet secret. And I long for the time that I'll feel that secret again. Even in the cold, I feel that it is spring within me. I feel it in my whole body and soul. It is an effort to behave normally. I feel utterly confused, don't know what to write, what to do. I only know that I'm longing, so longing, for everything. Sometimes I have to struggle to hold back my tears. I feel as if I'm going to burst. I'm restless too. I go from one room to the other, breathing through the crack of a closed window. At times, when I lie in bed at night, I feel a terrible yearning, and I listen to the beating of my heart as if it is saying, "Can't you satisfy my longings at last?" And then there's Peter. Whenever he looks at me with those eyes.
Feeling any better, Margo?
A little.
Maybe this will make you feel better yet.
Buddy, look! Look, the cake!
Cake?
Cake.
I'll get the plates.
Is it your special spice cake?
Spice cake, exactly. Your favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Spice cake, what a treat. You must have used up all your rations for the week.
Oh, look, and it says peace in 1944.
Last year it said peace in 1943.
Well, it has to come sometime, doesn't it?
Who's the next one?
All right, now how many of us are there?
Oh, none for me, thank you.
All right, well that leaves 7.
8. The same number it always is.
I was taking it for granted Margo would not be having any.
Why not?
I don't think a piece of cake would harm her.
You don't want her to start coughing again.
8. All right, 8.
And please, Mrs. Frank should cook the cake. It divides things better.
What are you saying? Don't I always divide everything exactly the same?
Yes. Yes, except Mr. Von Don always gets a little bit more.
Just a minute, Miss.
Please, please. You see what a little spice cake can do to our heads.
Frank, you cut.
Eat that smell. Are you sure you won't have a piece?
Oh, no, thank you. I have to leave in a minute.
Me. Jan, Margo, go, Margo.
Jan, tell us about Jan.
He's taking me to a party tonight.
Party? Oh, Miep, you must remember everything so you can tell us about it tomorrow.
Everyone you dance with.
Jan. Only with Jan. Oh, wait. I seem to have forgotten something.
Me?
What? What is it up here? Stay in the suspense.
Oh, Miep, they're wonderful. Where did you find them?
All grown up. She's ready for Hollywood.
Enjoy them, Anne. I'll give you a full report tomorrow.
Me. There's something I'd like you to do for me.
What? What is it?
You know what it is.
What is it?
Wants to sell her fur coat.
No. Buddy. Don't do this to me. This is my coat. And my father gave me this coat, and you have no right! Let go of me! Don't you dare!
You have to give it up. You can't hold on to a fur coat when people are in such desperate need of warm clothing. Besides, we're broke. We've been running out of money for months. We have to sell it.
Mrs. Frank, is there something I can get for you?
No, thank you. It's just... Oh, Miep, I remember when New Year's Eve was something to look forward to.
You mustn't give up hope.
There is no hope to be had. I know that. I knew that when Hitler came into power, when that voice came screaming over the radio. That they're paralyzed. Now, London, what are they doing? What are they all doing? They don't even mention the word Jew. Trains are still leaving. Why don't they bomb the tracks? Talk about this with the others. Make plans, count the days till the war's over. But I feel as if the end will never come. Sometimes I just want to give myself up.
Give me, Mrs. Frank. You must take things a little easier.
I'm ashamed to feel this way. I know you have it just as hard.
No, we don't.
You.
I just don't understand. I would never have done anything like that to you.
The coat was old, for God's sakes. Those skins had definitely seen their
That's
day.
not the point, and you know it.
I know we need the money. We have no money. Can you get that through your head? Don't talk to her like that.
You've never understood anything.
God, here we go again.
Coat? That coat was the last thing. A whole world gone. You took the last memory of my father away!
Do we have to hear about your father again? If it hadn't been for your father, and your coat, and your apartment with all your goddamn possessions, we'd be in America right now!
You didn't want to! It was you too! You didn't want to!
I wanted to! I only stayed because of you! I knew which way the wind was blowing, but you never listened!
Oh, but you knew everything!
Mother, please.
Your mother will never listen.
If I could just say...
No! No, you may not! It is none of your business, and besides, you say too much as it is!
You shouldn't have said that, Mother. You hurt her feelings.
Oh, well, I'm sorry! I apologize for everything!
Left this. Sorry for what happened down there. I wish I could have said something, but they make me feel so... Sometimes I wish I didn't belong to them. Just hope I don't turn out like him.
You won't. I know it.
What if I'm like him?
You're not.
All I can say is, if it weren't for you, I mean you were always a big help to me. Well, when you're cheerful, it keeps me from being depressed.
I'm not always so cheerful inside. Hard. If you want to cry or something, know where to go.
Easier for me, I guess. When there's a fight, you know, with my parents, I just stuck into my room.
Lucky you have a room of your own.
At least you have parents you can talk to.
Not really. Never discuss anything with Mother. I can talk about everything with Father. Stepmother. It's funny, isn't it?
What?
Well, we've been living here for almost a year and a half. And this is the first time we've been alone. You know something, Mother? I've never really had a friend. Someone whom I could truly confide in.
Neither. Smile for me.
Or,
Dimples when you smile.
only one who represents.
That's not true. Pretty. Yes.
prepared.
My God, I can't eat this again. Pickles, kale, fried potatoes every night for weeks now.
Something wrong, Mr. Dussel? You try cooking for a change instead of insulting my wife.
I think you prepared the kale very nicely, Mrs. Von Don. I don't know how you do it. Every night another miracle.
Mr. Frank, always the goal of politeness.
You're not eating, Margo. Eat. You have to eat.
I'm not hungry.
Margo, just take one bite.
Sorry, can't.
She eats like a bird, Mrs. Frank. Every day a smaller and smaller bird. Anne's eating. Peter's eating.
I pretend it's delicious. Don't look at it, and before I know it, it's gone.
Very wise, Annika.
I eat because I'm hungry.
Come, Margo, you've got to force yourself. You're too thin.
Sorry. I can't.
I'm doing the best I can.
He's not the only one. We're all famished.
War ever be over?
This war would be over a lot sooner if the British would start the invasion.
Please, not tonight.
The British are fighting for their lives.
They'll do something when the time is right.
Oh, when we're dead and buried, you mean? It's amazing how strong those Germans are.
The Germans are going to win? Is that what you're saying?
They might. They very well might if the British don't get moving.
They're moving, for crying out loud. 3,000 tons of bombs dropped on Amberg last Sunday. How many more bombs do you need?
Enough so that we don't have to transport.
Mr. Kraler.
I'm sorry to come at this hour, but something's happened.
What is it?
I must ask you all to be more careful, more quiet.
What's happened?
A man in the storeroom. A few days ago, he asked me what I heard from Mr. Frank. I said I heard you were in Switzerland, but he thought I might know more. And then today I saw him looking at the bookcase, and he said he remembered a door there. And then he asked for a raise. 10 guilders a month.
Blackmail.
10 guilders? A very modest blackmail.
It's just the beginning.
What did you tell him?
I told him I had to think about it. Should I pay him the money? Take a risk on firing him?
For God's sakes, pay him the money.
Offer him half. We'll find out if it's blackmail or not.
Maybe he knows nothing. But it's getting worse out there every day. You can't trust anyone. I'll offer him half then.
Thank you, Mr. Kraler.
We'll hope for the best.
Thank you.
Mother, please, don't be upset. I can't bear to see you this way.
You're right, Annika. Back to supper.
I'd rather stay here.
And now, from London, a message from the Dutch Minister of Education, Mr. Gerrit Bolkestein. I speak to you tonight from your government in exile. documents alone. After the war, we will collect written evidence relating to the oppression our country has endured during the Nazi occupation. If our descendants are to understand what we as a nation have endured during these years, we need simple, everyday pieces. A diary, letters from a forced laborer in Germany, memories, written down and handed down.
I can't believe it. Did he really just say a diary? I'll start revising it tomorrow. Maybe one day I could even publish a novel. Secret Annex. Based on my diary. Unless you write yourself, you can't know how wonderful it is. When I write, I shake off all my cares. But I want to achieve more than that. I want to bring enjoyment and usefulness to all people, even those I never met. I want to go on living even after my death.
You know, Mr. Dussel's getting awful impatient.
Let him. I'm always waiting for him.
Are you going up to the attic, Peter? You've been up there so many times already.
I went up exactly twice. Once to practice French together, and once to get the potatoes for supper.
Oh, but you know Mrs. Von Donahue. I mean, she's got a comment for every little.
She can't help herself. It's in her nature. It's in her nature. And I don't think it's Mrs. Von Don that's upsetting you.
I'm not upset.
Aren't you, Margo? Tell me the truth.
Who wouldn't want someone to spend every night with? Have deep, serious conversations with? And what else? Yes, I'm jealous of you. Not even I'm here. I'm happy to have someone.
You mean it?
I want you to have a good time tonight. You already missed out on so much here.
Oh, Margo, you're such a generous person. And besides, there's nothing to be jealous of. We don't do anything. He's never even kissed me.
That kiss will come.
I'm not sure I wanted to.
Oh, you do. I know you. It's in your nature. Fix your hair a little bit. There. Now you're ready.
Presume I may finally get me back into my room.
Our room, dear Mr. Dussel. And yes, you may return.
Thank you.
It's cold up there in the attic. Take your sweater.
In my day, it was the boys who called on the girls.
Oh, children like to think they have secrets. And the attic's the only place they can talk.
Talk? That's not exactly what they called it in my day.
I think a little romance, maybe developing our little annex.
Oh, if we're here much longer, we might have our own little annex wedding. Dun, dun, da, da.
Well, frankly, I can't stand this stupid chatter for another minute. And don't forget to be down by 9.
They're so old-fashioned. I guess they don't realize how much more advanced we are.
You look nice.
Really?
I like the shoes. I've always liked the shoes.
Miep always does everything just right.
She likes you a lot.
I love her. But I hate having to always ask for everything. Doesn't it make you miserable to feel so dependent?
I'm not miserable. Anymore. I mean, just seeing you on the stairs, I feel so...
I feel the same.
You know, you've changed. I used to think you were a real pain in the neck.
My life before seemed so unreal. Nothing to do with who I am now. I think of myself then as an utterly superficial girl. And I wouldn't go back to being her for the world.
You know a lot about yourself. This comes from all that writing you do.
Well, if I didn't, write what I think, what I feel, I'd suffocate. I want to be a real writer one day. Oh, I know I can write. I'm my harshest critic. Who knows if I truly have talent or not. What do you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. Something that doesn't take much brains. Maybe if I had your job, I could...
That's ridiculous.
No, it's true. I'm a complete idiot.
You're too hard on yourself.
I didn't have much going for me on the outside.
But don't you miss? Oh, Peter, I miss so many things. Sometimes I dream we're back in our old apartment, and I wake up and wonder, why can't I run outside? You can see the moon from here. It's like you said. How beautiful. Look at our attic, Peter. The moonlight coming in?
Are you cold?
No. Well, maybe a little.
Here.
Peter, have you ever kissed a girl?
I guess so.
You have? When?
I mean, it wasn't a big deal or anything.
Tell me.
My birthday. I was blindfolded. I don't even know who the girl was.
There's nothing wrong with being kissed. Although I'm sure Margo would never kiss a boy unless she were engaged to him. And I know Mother never touched a man before she met him. My girlfriends would say, "And how shocking," but who cares what they'd say anyway? Everything's different now. Here.
All did our act before. Do you really think it's ours?
I do.
You won't let them stop you from coming up here?
No, I promise. Maybe I could even bring up one of my stories and read it to you sometime.
You'll come tomorrow night?
If you want me to.
I do. It's 9:05.
I will then. Listen, a rat.
Edith, please, go back to bed.
My God! He's stealing the bread!
Herman, for God's sake.
What, what's going on?
Your husband's stealing our bread!
Never before. Never
I
before.
don't believe you. If he stole it once, he'll steal again. Every day I watch the children getting thinner and thinner, and he comes in the middle of the night and steals the food that should go to them.
Edith, please.
Mama, it's only a piece of bread.
Here.
I want them to go.
He put us out on the streets.
There are other hiding places. And don't worry about the money. I'll find the money.
Mr. Frankie said you'd never
If
forget.
my husband had any obligation to you, it's paid for.
For God's sake, I've never seen you like this.
Mother, please, they'd be killed on the streets.
She's right, you cannot send them away.
They can stay until Miep finds them a place. But I don't want him near the food.
Let's divide it up right now!
Okay, we're not gonna divide
It's the
up.
only way! Mr. Frank, Mrs. Frank,
Dussel,
Margo, and Peter, Mrs. Von Don, Mr. Von Don, myself, Mr. Frank!
Stop it right now, Mr. Dussel! I'm begging you!
Margo, Mr. Dussel, everyone! Back to your rooms.
Miep at this hour? Everyone, the most wonderful, incredible news. The invasion, it's begun.
You could feel the excitement on the streets. I ran to tell you before the workmen got here. They've landed in Normandy.
The British?
British, Americans, everyone. More than 4,000 ships. Look at the map.
How long have we prayed for this moment?
Cherbourg, the first city. They're fighting for it now.
How long will it be from Normandy to the Netherlands? To Cherbourg, Caen, Paris, and then Amsterdam.
People of Western Europe, a landing was made this morning on the coast of France by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force. This landing is part of the concerted United Nations plan for the liberation of Europe, made in conjunction with our great Russian allies. I have this message for all of you. Although the initial assault may not have been made in your country, the hour of your liberation is approaching. All patriots, men and women, young and old, have a part to play in the achievement of final victory. To members of resistance movements, I say, follow the instructions you have received. To patriots who are not members of organized resistant groups, I say, continue your passive resistance, but do not needlessly endanger your lives until I give you the signal to rise and strike the enemy. The day will come when I shall need your united strength. Until that day, I call on you for the hard task of discipline and restraint. Citizens of France, I am proud to have again under my...
You've been away so long.
Oh, I can imagine every detail. To be outside again, the sky Margo, to walk along the canal, to everything.
I'm afraid to let myself think about it. To go home? To have a real meal? I don't know if anything will ever taste the same. Look the same. I don't think anything will ever be the same. I mean, how can we go back? Really? You know what I've decided? I want to be a nurse. For newborns and go all the way in Palestine. And you can go back to school in October, in September even. Wouldn't that be something?
Honey. You know what I was just thinking? I know you won't believe this, but I was thinking about the first day we met. In Bremerhaven, with you and all of those boys buzzing around. I picked you out. Right away. You were the one who made me laugh. And then, that afternoon, you took me out on that ferry, and then you kissed me. And those kisses were even better than the laughter. Don't you remember? And then we were kissing, and then laughing, and then we drove the ferry boat off course. And then we got back, and we made that little restaurant open its doors. The owner said, "Wow, that man can really eat." We'll go back on that ferry. I promise. It won't be long now. And soon I'll be making all of your favorites. Sauerbraten and vodkas, your cherished applesauce. even go to Burkhoff's for cream cakes. But in the meantime, buddy, if you're hungry, hold on to me. Oh, buddy, please just hold on to me.
Just as I was falling asleep, my friend Hanali appeared to me like a eyes. Her face thin. Sadness in her eyes. Read the message in me. Oh, Anne, why did you abandon me? Help me. Rescue me from this hell. Why have I been chosen to live and you to die? Finally, if you ever return, I'll share everything I have with you. So alive. You're a reminder of what my fate could have been. Seeing your face. Seeing myself in your place. What will happen if we're... No, I mustn't write that down. Question won't go away. Even though the invasion has begun, it looms before us in total horror.
And so we come to the end of this broadcast from BBC Radio Europe. And remember, no matter how hard the times and how heavy the separation, we are once more a day closer to the liberation.
Strawberries. There's nothing I want more.
What? I can't understand you. Your mouth's too full.
You've been eating ever since we came up here.
Well, I mean, they're better than those string beans yesterday.
Green. You know, I thought it would never end.
I'd forgotten how good these are.
We haven't seen a berry in 2 years.
I'm just worried there won't be any left for jam with those three after that.
Let the children enjoy themselves, Mr. Dussel. These are good.
I'll tell you a secret. Every night I think they're coming, our liberators.
Bet you'll both forget me when you're with all your old friends.
Most of our old friends are gone, Peter.
I won't ever forget you.
Tell you one thing. As soon as we get out of here, I'm gonna make sure no one knows I'm Jewish.
What?
I'm serious. I mean, life would be a lot easier if I were a Christian.
You mean you'd be baptized?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'd never turn away from who I am. Don't you know you'll always be Jewish in your soul? It's a wonder I haven't abandoned all my ideas. They seem so absurd and impractical. Yet I cling to them because I still believe, in spite of everything, people are truly good at heart. It is utterly impossible to build my life on a foundation of fear. I see the world transformed into a wilderness. I hear the approaching thunder which will destroy us too. I feel the suffering of millions.
Westerbork. Wooden towers where jailers stand guard. Walls covered with thousands of flies. 8 of us, crammed into Barrack 67. Betrayed. We never know by whom. Late August, Paris freed. Brussels, Antwerp. But for us, it's too late. Tuesday, September 3rd, 1944. 1,000 of us herded into cattle cars. The last transport to leave Westerbork for the extermination camps. 3 days and 3 nights on the train. In the middle of the 3rd night, Auschwitz.
Separation. Men from the women. Selection. Half our transport killed in the gas chambers. Some sent to other camps. One day, Peter and I see a group of men march away. His father among them. Gassed. Peter died on the death march to Mauthausen, 3 days before the British arrived. His mother, Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen, Buchenwald, Theresienstadt. Date of death, unknown. Mr. Dussel died in Neuengamme. January 27th, 1945. I am freed from Auschwitz, but I know nothing of the children and Edith. Then I learn Edith died in Birkenau of grief, hunger, exhaustion. The winter of 45, typhus breaks out, killing thousands of prisoners. Among them, Margo. Anne's friend, Annalie, sees Anne through the barbed wire, completely naked, head shaved, covered in lice. I don't have anyone anymore, she weeps. A few days later, he dies. Both my daughter's bodies dumped into mass graves.
just before the British arrived. All that remains